The war ended. The ceasefire was signed. The headlines moved on. So why are you still paying $4.5 every time you fill your tank? This video is not about the Strait of Hormuz. It's about what came after it, and what's still draining your wallet right now. In the last 6 months, the average American driver has silently paid nearly $900 more just at the pump alone, and that's before we count what happened to your groceries. By the end of this video, you will know 3 things that most people are not connecting. Why the ceasefire actually made your situation worse, not better. The second decision made thousands of miles from any battlefield that hit your wallet from a completely different direction. And the real timeline for when this finally ends. According to the people who track it professionally, it may not be what you expect. It was a Tuesday morning, February 28th, 2026. Across America, tens of millions of people started their week the same way they always had. They stopped for gas. The national average that morning, $2.94 a gallon. Nobody filling up that morning knew it would be the last time they'd see that number. Because 7,000 miles away, a decision had already been made. In the early hours of February 28th, U.S. and allied forces launched a coordinated military strike against Iran. The details were classified. The economic consequences were not. Within hours, global oil markets responded the way they always respond to conflict in the Persian Gulf. They panicked, but Iran had a weapon more powerful than any missile. The Strait of Hormuz, a waterway barely 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, through which 20% of all the oil on Earth travels every single day. Iran closed it. And what followed was not just a spike in oil prices. It was a chain reaction, one that traveled from that narrow stretch of water straight into your gas tank, your grocery cart, your heating bill, and your paycheck. 6 months later, that chain is still running, and most Americans still don't understand why. April 7th, 2026. After 6 weeks of war, the announcement finally came: a ceasefire. Markets reacted instantly. Oil prices tumbled. For one brief moment, it looked like the crisis was finally over. But 7,000 miles away, on the water that actually moves the world's oil, nothing moved at all. The insurance companies that protect every oil tanker on Earth refused to budge. They didn't lift their warning. They expanded it to cover the entire Persian Gulf. And Iran wasn't just defending its waters anymore. It was charging for them. A new toll system. One ship reportedly paid $2 million just to cross safely. Then came the mines. American officials said it could take up to 6 months just to clear the waters Iran had quietly seeded with explosives. More than 500 ships sat anchored, waiting. Shipping giant DHL told its own clients the honest truth: normal service was 4 to 6 months away, minimum. Even this week, as you are watching this video, the strait still isn't back to normal. One side called it wide open. The people whose job is to actually ensure that water disagreed. The peace was real. But peace on paper and peace on the water are not the same thing. And while the world watched the Gulf, a second, quieter battle was unfolding. One fought not with ships, but with paperwork. While the Gulf dominated every headline, a different fight was happening inside the United States Supreme Court. On February 20th, just 8 days before the war began, the court ruled 6-3 the president's sweeping tariffs were illegal. For a moment, it looked like relief was coming. Then 4 days later, 4 days before the first missile was fired, a new tariff replaced it: 10% on nearly every country on Earth. One legal door closed, another opened immediately. For everyday Americans, the tariffs never actually stopped. And tariffs don't hit your wallet immediately. Researchers who study this found it takes about 7 months for a tariff to fully show up on a store shelf. Which means the price increases hitting your grocery store right now were decided over half a year ago. Before the war, before the ceasefire, before any of this was visible to you. Look at what's already happened. A bag of frozen tilapia, up 47%. Hash browns, up 33%. Ground pork, up over 14%. And economists are clear, it isn't finished. In 2025, businesses absorbed roughly 80% of these costs themselves just to protect their customers. That cushion is gone. Now, analysts expect that number to flip. As little as 20% absorbed by businesses. The other 80% pass directly to you. Economists call this the peak pressure window, and it lands right now between April and October of 2026. A war that closed a shipping lane, a court ruling that reopened a trade war, 2 separate crises, born the same week, both landing on the same kitchen table, yours. That is the question everyone is asking, and for once there is a clear, authoritative answer. It just is not the one most people want to hear. The U.S. Energy Information Administration, the government body that officially tracks and forecasts American energy, published their June 2026 outlook just weeks ago. Here is what they found. Phase 1. The Strait begins reopening now in the third quarter of 2026, that is July through September. Shipping starts moving again, slowly. Phase 2. As production restarts and oil flows again, crude prices start to fall. The EIA forecasts Brent crude dropping from $105 a barrel today down to around $89 by the end of 2026. Phase 3. Early 2027. Most production and trade patterns return. Oil averages around $79 a barrel. Gasoline prices follow downward, gradually. But here is the part that most people will miss. The EIA itself said it clearly. Any return to normal must account for the partial restructuring of the global oil market that has already happened. In other words, some of what changed is permanent. And that timeline assumes everything goes right. 6 months of mine clearing, months of infrastructure repair. A Qatar LNG facility whose owner says could take up to 5 years to rebuild. These are not worst-case scenarios. These are the plan. So the honest answer to when does it end is this. The worst of it probably by the end of 2026, the full memory of it well into 2027. But you do not have to wait until 2027 to start protecting yourself. And that is what the next few minutes are for. Knowing what is happening does not lower your gas bill. Knowing what to do about it does. 5 specific moves. All of them work right now today, with 0 additional income. 1. Stop paying more for gas than your neighbors are. Apps like Gas Buddy and Upside show you the cheapest fuel on your exact route in real time. The rule: do not detour more than 1 mile for cheaper gas. The math rarely works in your favor. 2. Switch to store brand versions of the specific items that got most expensive, not everything. Be surgical. Frozen proteins, canned goods, staple items. The quality gap is now virtually non-existent. Stack cashback apps like Ibotta on top, and the savings double. 3. Buy non-perishables in bulk right now. Rice, pasta, canned proteins, cooking oil. Economists confirmed the tariff pressure window runs through October 2026. Locking in today's prices on these items is a real, practical hedge, not a prepper fantasy. 4. Update your budget to reflect the new baseline, not last year's prices. Food is 19% more expensive than 4 years ago. It is not going back. Adjust your monthly grocery and transport lines up 5 to 8% and find that difference by cutting one subscription you have not used this month. This is not a crisis budget. It is an honest one. 5. If your credit score allows it, use a cashback card specifically for gas and groceries. The best cards return 3 to 5% on those exact categories. On a $500 monthly grocery budget, that is up to $300 a year flowing back into your pocket, paid by the same companies raising your prices. You cannot control a war, you cannot control a tariff, but you can control a system. And systems beat stress every single time. America is changing fast, and most people are watching it happen without understanding why. That is what we are here for, and most people are watching it happen without understanding why. And watch what comes next.